Welcome to Dear Book Coach. I am Terri Thayer, author, certified book coach, certified focusing professional.
I'm Carrie Savage, writer, certified book coach, and project manager.
I'm Stephanie Detlefs, writer and certified book coach.
This is a friendly advice space as you plan, draft, and revise your novel. In each episode, we answer one question submitted by a writer like you from 3 different points of view, and you get to pick the advice that resonates with you. Today's question is from Kat. If you had to pick just one, what is your favorite writing craft book? Carrie, you're first.
Just one. I couldn't even come up with an answer for just one. So, and I think there's a picture of my stack somewhere on my Instagram or one of the stacks or something. So this is a really hard question, Kat. And I also I have to throw a shout out there that I think all of us would include, which is to Jenny Nash's book, Blueprint for a Book, because it's sort of a foundational thing for all of our coaching practices. So yeah, see, Stephanie's always got it right at hand. Good for you. So I think I just want to honorary Hall of Fame mention for that book. But in that same vein, I said either one of Lisa Cron's books, but if I have to pick one of them, I will say Story Genius. And the reason I picked Story Genius is because I read that one first before I read Wired for Story. I have not read her new one that's out now. But that one gave me my first real aha moments that I had going through with around her ideas about what story means to humans and how we process story and all that kind of stuff. It was like someone had cracked a code to me. And all of those things that I felt like I understood instinctively just because of the sheer number of books that I've read over the course of my life and what I love about reading and all of that and all the things I had absorbed that way about what worked and what didn't. It was like putting on glasses or looking through some sort of a magnifying glass and saying aha, now I understand. I can put words to why it works and see it through this writing lens, which was it was so cool. I felt like I had a whole new perspective on my book. Not only was I able to see the world through my character's eyes, which I think was really important for me. And I've talked in other videos about how I had to do X amount of research to get to that point where I felt like I could see my character's world through her eyes. But I also became something of a psychologist. So I understood her better than she could understand herself. And that's critical because she had to go on blundering through the world and making mistakes and clinging to her misbeliefs. And all of that is super important to telling the good story. But I could then understand why she was making those mistakes. And I really became the one who was deliberately pulling the strings instead of sort of instinctually feeling my way through it and knowing that oh yeah, this is close to being right, but not quite right. So I just felt like I made all kinds of connections with writing and how to tell a story in a way that was much deeper than I really ever had before. So that's why I went with Story Genius. Love Story Genius.
Here, I have that one too.
Yep. I had to pull it out and look at it again for
and I have Terry's pick in my pile too.
Oh, well, I have it
They're
too.
just always sitting here. So yeah, I picked one that I love, but it's a little less conventional for a conversation that's usually about novel writing. But Terri and Carrie picked the 2 I would have picked. We've already talked at length about Blueprint for a Book. So I picked The Writer's Portable Mentor by Priscilla Long. She's actually local where I live, but this book is primarily focused on writing personal essays, which is why I picked it up originally, because that's what I was actively writing when I first got the first edition. I have both editions of it. And but what she offers are throughout maybe half of the book are tips and for strengthening your craft when it comes to writing paragraphs, writing sentences at the word level. And I think that her strategies and her exercises are unparalleled really, and with other things that I've read, she recommends some daily practices for just building your observational skills for like how humans interact, how you would describe a room, etc. And ways to just play with words and play with language and build your vocabulary. And all of that stuff can't help but seep into your actual work in progress. So I also really like her take on getting your work out into the world in various ways. It's not extensive. There's plenty of other books out there on that, but she does have a nice kind of couple of spicy takes on it, which I enjoy. And if you write essays in addition to books, this is a book that should definitely be on your bookshelf, The Writer's Portable Mentor by Priscilla Long. But even I recommend it to all writers because of the practices around building your language skills and your observational skills. It's just a really beautiful book. And I'm going to cheat and say that you should also grab The Heroine's Journey by Gail Carriger. I think it's Carriger. I'm going to go with that. Carriger. The Heroine's Journey. So most of us are familiar with the hero's journey structure. The Heroine's Journey is not discounting the hero's journey as a structure. It's offering a different structure entirely that is more emotionally driven. So if you're telling a more emotionally driven story, then I highly recommend grabbing The Heroine's Journey for developing structure of the plot in general, and The Writer's Portable Mentor for developing your word and language and observational skills.
That's two books.
Terri? I know I cheated. I fully admit it. I can't pick just one. It's like picking a favorite child.
Well, my latest one is my favorite right now, just because like the latest thing you do is usually, so mine, why is mine reversed? Pick up yours, because so it's mine is Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. All right, cue Stephanie, pull your cover up.
Well, you just pulled yours up.
Yeah, but mine was reversed and yours wasn't. Yeah, there you go. Mine was.
Oh, yours looked all right.
Oh, that's so funny.
I think it's fine.
Didn't look good. Sorry.
Double vision.
So when the original Save the Cat came out by Blake Snyder, I was trying to work on the beat system and put it in my work in progress, and it really didn't work very well. And I had heard a couple of lectures of authors telling us we can find answers to our novel writing problems in movies. And I really disagree with this. Movies, have actors that can say so much with a lip curl or a glance. They have costumes, which tell us class and station in life. They have settings we just take in a glance. It was easy to see how this Save the Cat worked in movies. And the average script is like 100 pages, nothing like the average book, which could be 300-400 pages of densely written prose. So Jessica Brody came along. She was teaching this and decided to write a book. And she really breaks it down, way down. And before you say too much, that she's protest too much, saying she's teaching you to write to a formula, hold on. She calls it's not a formula, it's a code, which I really like. Like you talked about that too, this code that we have sort of ingrained in us. And if you want to write a novel read by a lot of people, it's good to know the code. And the code can guide you through the messy, murky middle. Her code reminds you to put your heroine in danger again and again. And it reminds you that you need to know what your character wants and needs, and that those wants and needs drive the story. The tone of this book is very chatty. It's really fun and upbeat. It's really easy to read. It's easy to dip in and out of. It's a wonderfully visual book. There are charts and questionnaires and checklists. She even shows you a corkboard setup for your index cards using her methods. She takes into account all different types of learning. The best part for me, besides setting up my corkboard, is the breakdown of popular novels. She takes a book like Girl on a Train or The Kite Runner and breaks it into the beats that she talks about, like setup, catalyst, fun and games. And my favorite, bad guys close in. you can see how this method works in any genre, whether it's literary, thriller, romance, horror. I think Save the Cat Writes a Novel is a really accessible way to learn about novel structure. Even if you don't use all of her method, reading the book will give you insights on how to move your novel forward. So I recommend Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody.
Awesome. Yeah, I second that emotion / recommendation. And I think it's probably not a surprise that we all have very similar books on our shelves. We're all book coaches. We all sort of train the same way and we don't agree on everything all the time. See previous videos. But I think there are certain fundamentals that we all agree are important, and at least important to acknowledge whether you stick to them to the letter or not. So that's it for today. Hope you found an answer that made sense to you at this point in your life and at this point in your book. And if you have any recommendations for your favorite craft books, please share them with us. We'd love to. We love craft books, of course, because we're coaches and writers. So we'd love to hear what you think as well. And remember that you can also submit questions at any time to dearbookcoach.com and subscribe to our weekly email. Each month, we randomly choose a subscriber who wins a call with a coach of their choice. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.